A lot of people have given Soledad O'Brien a great deal of grief over her report, Black in America, which aired on CNN. Unfortunately, it didn't air on CNN internationally, so that people around the world could see this aspect of the United States and how sort of Black people engage with America in masses. Unfortunately, MTV is the one to give that message to most of the world, and you know what that message is. So it's fascinating that the woes of being Black are often confused with a reality check. I look at hip hop music again because I love hip hop, and I look at, um, one of the earliest hip hop albums, The Message. And it's just amazing to see that, people talking about, broken glass everywhere, it smells like piss and everything is depressed and depressing. Everything is angry and angry ridden. And then you look at even today, statistics that talk about overwhelming living conditions and access to opportunity that Black people in America have. And it's important that we understand that access because we consider that in this democracy that we have equitable access, and therefore the outcomes of our lives, those of us who generate wealth and status and prestige, it's assumed that we had a personal merit that warranted that. You understand what I'm saying? So it's if everyone starts on a level playing field, then those who excel were inherently meant to rise. So the thinking goes in the meritocracy. But I think that the more that we're able to dissect the institutional forms of racism in the United States through really exploring the conditions of Black people in America, even if it's in shows like, CNN's report, it's good to know that this dissecting not only leads to a greater liberation and understanding for Black people, but also it demystifies for everyone the myth of meritocracy. Because remember that Black people are considered lazy in such an economy. This is why the brother couldn't get a job with no, with a basic level of education, no criminal record, in a married, committed relationship with children, not married, but in a living situation with someone so allegedly demonstrating an ability to commit to something and see it through. With all these things, if you look at the report in Soledad's montage, it talks about the Princeton University woman who said that being Black is basically like the handicap of having a felony on your record in America, and that a democracy has chronic poverty really, really shows that there are all sorts of forms of institutional inequality that invariably keep all of us in some sort of place. And therefore, the American dream that we talk about is far from being realized. It's far from even being founded in something good, because what it's saying is what understanding the situation of Black people in America, a greater understanding of how this underclass is maintained, I think will lead us to really want to desire, lead to a very deep-rooted desire to accept who we are and take responsibility to create something else that actually is more equitable, that actually not only offers access, but also doesn't offer rewards that are just financial. That we as a society have different values about wholesomeness, about, I don't mean wholesomeness like granola, but of what it means to be whole and what it means to be a productive citizen and all these sorts of things. So, look at science fiction. A lot of our science fiction begins with the apocalypse, if you think about it. there's a World War III impending and we destroy ourselves. I mean, that's the greatest imagination that those who are well financed to have their dreams transferred from, from imagination to print and to film and, images that travel around the world. It's interesting to look at that in this sort of laziness paradigm where black people are lazy and these people are like this and women are like this and everybody has their place, which is not really freedom. It's free to exist within a box. It's as if I all of me was right here, what you see on this video. It's as if that were your entire life, and that determines so much about you. And so being black, having a criminal record, and all these things that have come to mean America, that we can examine what America really is without the myth of meritocracy. We can unveil it. And only then can we begin to create something else. So only when when I say recognizing ourselves, an apology is also a form of recognizing where you are. Because apology isn't in itself forgiveness, but it is a step. It's like, the 12-step program. It's the first step. I apologize. I'm sorry for who I am. But you don't stay sorry. And so when I talk about the woes of black folk, my goodness, it's not as if even as hard as it is out here for a pimp, that's not the ending point. That's the starting point. It's hard out here for a pimp. And therefore, I'm going to pick myself up and do something else. Now, what we're finding with Barack Obama always comes back to this brother for many people, but look at what he represents. Someone says it's hard out here for a pimp, and the Academy awards that great recognition. It's performed widely and everyone